All right, folks, we're back in business. After a short wee break, we're ready to get stuck right back into it. And let's be honest, it wasn't just me taking time off. You probably enjoyed a bit of peace and quiet too, didn't you? But now that both of us have had a breather, it's time to look ahead. No more dwelling on last season, no more obsessing over what went wrong or what could have been. We're facing forward with eyes fixed on what's next for Celtic. Now I get it. It's still a fair stretch until the boys are back in serious action. But even so, the buzz is starting to build. You feel it, right? The anticipation, the possibilities, the what-ifs. And I'll admit it, I'm even a wee bit excited about the Club World Cup kicking off this weekend. Now I know that's probably not the most popular opinion in the room, but come on, football in the summer, actual competitive matches, while most of the continent is lounging about waiting for the new season. I'll take that any day. It might not be the Champions League, but it'll do for now. Speaking of the summer, I spent mine halfway across the world. Perth, Western Australia. Did you know it's officially the most isolated major city on Earth? The closest proper city is Adelaide, and that's about 2,000 kilometers away. Just to put that into context, that's like traveling from Glasgow all the way to Moscow. Mental, right? Anyway, that's enough geography trivia. Let's get back to the real stuff. Football. While I was out there, I managed to catch a match. Australia versus Japan. A decent fixture on paper, but unfortunately it was a bit of a stinker. I went in hoping to see a few familiar faces, Daisen Maeda, maybe Reo Hatate, or even Kyogo. But as luck would have it, not a single one made the squad. Maeda's been given some time off to spend with his new baby Rio, still recovering from that horror challenge at the end of the season, if you can even call it a challenge. And Kyogo's reportedly still not fully fit, so no Celts on the pitch and not much to shout about. The Aussies nicked a 1-0 win right at the death, which more or less confirms their spot at the next World Cup. Fair play to them, but the match itself was proper dire. And yes, I made sure to let Japan boss Hajime Moriyasu know exactly what we thought of those selection decisions. Consider it a public service. For what it's worth, the stadium was top class. Same capacity as Celtic Park, which is hard to believe because it felt a lot bigger standing there. Still not a patch on paradise. Now while I've been off gallivanting what's been happening back home at Celtic Park, well, I'll tell you, not a lot. The transfer section on our Wikipedia page is looking emptier than I've ever seen it. Honestly, it's so barren you'd think we were under a transfer embargo. The only official incoming so far is Kieran Tierney, and even that's been in the pipeline for ages. Not exactly the whirlwind summer of signings we were hoping for, eh? There has been a bit of noise about Tierney recently. He pulled out of the Scotland squad after their opening match. That first game, by the way, was a disaster. A 3-1 defeat at home to Iceland. Iceland, I mean, come on. Losing to a team named after a frozen food supermarket. But, Tierney played that one and then pulled out. Word is he was already carrying a knock when he joined up with the national team, something lingering from his final few games at Arsenal. According to Steve Clark, it was always the plan for him to feature in just the one game and then head off for a bit of rest and recovery before preseason at Lennoxtown. So no panic stations just yet. Seems like a precaution more than anything serious. Still, anytime you see Tierney's name next to the word injured, the alarm bells start ringing. On the flip side, we've had a couple of departures. Scott. Bain has finally moved on. Off to Falkirk, which seemed like a deal facilitated by Stevie Woods and John McGlynn having a word. Fair enough, good luck to him. And Joey Dawson has gone back to Scunthorpe United, the club we signed him from in 2021. He only made one senior appearance for Celtic, that weird behind closed doors game against St. Johnstone on Boxing Day during the Omicron surge. Remember, that madness Kyogo went down early, Giacomakis was nowhere to be seen. Injured probably. And Dawson came on. That was it. Never featured again. Not a fairy tale, but all the best to him regardless. Now let's talk rumors. Transfer gossip. I know some of you spend half your life refreshing Twitter for updates, and fair play to you, but it's been slim pickings lately. That said, in the last 24 hours or so, we finally had something concrete. The name doing the rounds is Callum Osmond. And look, I know what you're thinking. Should we really be signing a guy who doesn't even have a Wikipedia page? Doesn't exactly scream ready-made superstar, does it? But hear me out. Osmond is 19, currently part of Fulham's under-21 side, and it looks like we're close to snapping him up on a free. Fulham apparently offered him a new deal, but he's decided to move on in search of first-team football. And here's where it gets interesting. Despite never playing a minute for Fulham's senior side, he scored 18 goals across all competitions last season for their under-21s. That's not bad going at all. Now you'll see some people quoting 11 goals. That's just from Premier League 2. But when you add in the Premier League International Cup, the National League Cup, and the Virtue Trophy, yes, that's a real thing. It brings him up to 18. And to top it off, he was nominated for Premier League 2 Player of the Season. So clearly the lad's got something about him. I had a wee look at some footage, as you do, and I've got in there. Say he looks tidy. Quick, decent finisher, can drop deep and link up play. And he's no slouch when it comes to dribbling either. He's not the biggest, probably around 6 foot, but he uses his body well. Think a mix between Lee Griffith's movement and Gary Hooper's. Knack for being in the right place though, with a bit more pace. Just don't quote me on that. YouTube compilations can be deceiving. Of course, the big question is, what's the plan for him? Is he being signed as the next big thing? Unlikely. More realistically, I'd say he's coming in as our third choice. Striker! Brendan Rodgers has wanted someone to develop in that role for a while. Johnny Kenny's name comes up here too. He's still around, but maybe this move signals a loan for him next season. If we're being brutally honest, Osman might just offer more in terms of raw tools, especially pace, than Kenny has shown so far. For context, the last time we took a young striker from Fulham on a free was Moussa Dembele back in 2016, and we all know how that turned out. Now, I'm not saying Osman is the next Dembele. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But there are some similarities. Fulham fans are fuming that he's leaving, asking why their best youngsters never get a shot with the first team. Sound familiar? It's the same frustration we've heard about our own academy. A better comparison might be Matt O'Reilly. Different position, of course, but a similar path. Fulham youth product couldn't break through, went down a level. To get proper minutes, and now look at him. Absolutely flying. Maybe Celtic see something similar in Osman. A diamond in the rough. And at the end of the day, it's a free transfer. Wages won't be massive. The risk is low and the potential reward, well, that could be huge. If he doesn't kick on, we haven't lost much. But if he does, we might have unearthed another gem. Picking up where we left off, there's something refreshing about a Lowry move with potentially high upside. It's been too long since we've had a proper project striker come in with real potential to break through. And there's always a gamble in signing a youngster who's never played senior football. But sometimes it's about the timing, the coaching, and the club culture. If Celtic can create the right environment for Osman, we might see him flourish quicker than expected. The boy's clearly got talent, and with the right management, he could become a serious option for us down the line. And if not, well, we're not exactly breaking the bank. Now, while all this chatter is going on about incomings and outgoings, we've also had some movement on the preseason front. Celtic have officially confirmed that we'll be facing Sporting Lisbon in a preseason friendly. That one's scheduled for Wednesday the 16th of July at the Estadio do Algarve. For those of you who have never been, that's a 30,000-seater. Stadium built for Euro 2004 just outside Faro. I remember driving past it back in the day on family holidays. Not the most iconic ground, but a decent venue all the same. And the big news here is that it won't be a behind closed doors game. This will be a proper friendly fans in the stands. Good atmosphere, the lot. Sporting Lisbon, of course, are one of Portugal's big three. Even though the game's not being played in the capital, they'll bring a strong squad and a decent crowd. And with Celtic fans expected to travel in numbers, it should feel like a real occasion, not just a run out on a training pitch. It'll cap off our training camp in Portugal, and while we're expected to play at least one more match while we're out there, that second fixture will be closed to the public. Standard stuff, really. Gives the coaching staff a chance to try a few things without the pressure or scrutiny. After Portugal, the squad will be heading to Italy for the so-called Como Cup. Now this one's shaping up to be a proper test. It runs from the 23rd to the 27th of July and features 4 teams: Celtic, Como, Ajax, and Al Ahly from Saudi Arabia. So not your usual random mix of clubs for a friendly tournament. There's actually some decent pedigree there. Ajax are, well, Ajax. A club with a serious European pedigree. Al Ahly have been spending big money lately and have players like Riyad Mahrez, Roberto Firmino, and supposedly even Ivan Toney on their books. Though I've not seen that officially. Confirmed. The word going round is that we'll face Ajax in the semi-final, likely on the Thursday. Win that, and we'll be in the final. Lose, and we'll be playing off for third. Either way, it's another good test, and these are the kind of matches that get the squad sharp before the serious stuff begins. Plus, from a fan point of view, it's a brilliant chance to get a proper look at how the team's shaping up, especially if we've added 1 or 2 faces by then. And we better have. I think what stands out with this preseason schedule is that it's actually got a bit of bite to it. We're not just playing the usual League One sides or half-hearted bounce games against English Championship teams. These are quality opponents with strong squads and solid reputations. Add to that the possibility of playing in front of good crowds in sunny Portugal and scenic Italy, and you've got the makings of a preseason that's more than just fitness work. It could actually tell us something about where this team is at. And it's needed, by the way. Brendan Rodgers will be wanting to see what his squad can do, especially with all the pressure that's going to be on him this season. Let's not kid ourselves. Last campaign had its shaky moments. We got over the line in the end, but it wasn't without its scares. If we want to push forward and make a mark in Europe, or even just maintain our dominance domestically, then this summer has to be the start of that push. The players coming in and need to hit the ground running. The players already here need to step up a gear. No more slow starts or wasted opportunities. That's why a proper preseason is so important. It sets the tone, and there's a chance here for some of the fringe players to really make a case for themselves. You look at someone like Rocco Vada, still knocking on the door, still looking for that breakthrough. Or Mikey Johnston, back from yet another loan spell trying to prove he's still got something to offer. These are the kind of games where careers can shift. One good performance against a side like Sporting Lisbon or Ajax, and suddenly you're in the manager's thoughts when the competitive fixtures roll around. And who knows, maybe someone like Callum Osman gets a run out and surprises us all. Stranger things have happened. Football's full of stories like that. A teenager signs quietly on a free, makes a few cameos in pre-season, and then bang, he's starting at Ibrox by September. You never know. One thing's for sure, we've got work to do. The squad's not finished, not by a long shot. There's positions that need strengthening, depth that needs adding, and big decisions to be made on who stays and who goes. But at least now we're moving. The fixtures are starting to fall into place. The transfer talks heating up. And slowly but surely, that familiar feeling's coming back. That mixture of hope nerves and excitement that only Celtic can give you. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. And this summer might just be the beginning of something special. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There's a fresh whisper swirling around the Scottish Premiership, and this time it concerns one of Celtic's most dynamic forwards. According to reports drifting in from Istanbul, Turkish giants Fenerbahçe are lining up a substantial offer for none other than Japanese international days in MAEDA. While nothing has been confirmed officially, murmurs from sources close to the Turkish club suggest they're preparing a bid that could well turn heads in the Celtic boardroom. MAEDA, known for his blistering pace, tireless pressing, and versatile presence across the front line, has become a key figure under Brendan Rodgers, but it seems his performances in green and white have not gone unnoticed abroad. Fenerbahçe, with eyes on both domestic dominance and European resurgence, are reportedly keen to bolster their attacking options, and MAEDA's name is said to be at the top of their wish list. The figure being floated is described as multi-million, and while no exact number has been disclosed, it's believed to be significant enough to prompt serious discussion in Glasgow's East End. Celtic, of course, are no strangers to selling top talent when the price is right, especially if there's confidence in reinvesting smartly. That said, fans might be left uneasy at the idea of losing yet another fan favorite to foreign interest. MAEDA's commitment on the pitch and connection with the support have made him more than just a tactical asset. But as always in football, money talks. And with Fenerbahçe reportedly eager to move swiftly, things could escalate quickly. For now, it remains a rumor, but one that's gaining traction. Could MAEDA be tempted by the lure of the Super League and a new challenge on the Bosphorus? Or will Celtic stand firm and fend off the Turkish approach? Time, as ever, will tell. But don't be surprised if this story refuses to go away quietly. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.